It is Game 3 of a 4-game set between the Yankees and the Orioles, final night game of the road trip. On the mound, the Yankees send Gerrit Cole, who is looking for his 4th win of the season, as the Yankees seek their 28th win of the season. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. How's it going, everybody? Well, the Yankees won again, but it's one of those good news, bad news kind of nights. So before we get started, some injury news. According to Scranton beat writer Connor Foley, Luis Heel exited his start tonight in Scranton with elbow pain. He called for the trainer. He pointed to his elbow and said, "I'm done." So I'm anticipating some tough news on Luis Heel over the next couple of days. Get well soon to Luis. And now on to the good news. The Yankees somehow managed to win on a night where their offense was completely shut down by a terrible pitcher. Find a way to win. With tonight's victory, the Yankees are almost 20 games over 500, and there are still 13 days left in May. This is truly starting to feel like more than fool's gold to me, because the team is playing with a confidence and an aggressiveness that I haven't seen them with since at least 2009. They win close games. They win blowouts. They beat good teams. They beat bad teams. They expect to win, and you can tell that they're having fun. The other night, Chapman has a rough night, and they give the belt, the championship belt that they give out, the physical one, not my digital belt. They give it to Chapman, and even on a night like tonight where the offense has an off night, which happens sometimes, it's going to happen. The pitching was fantastic. Gerrit Cole, really good start. Clay Holmes, phenomenal. What can you say? Gallo and Hicks had tough nights. Gallo with 3 more strikeouts. I'm already seeing a lot in the chat about Gallo. And Hicks, it seems like not only is he struggling on offense, but the defense seems to have taken a step back as well. I'm seeing balls drop in there that, he used to be standing under. Okay, it does look like we're getting a request for a poll. So I'm going to go ahead and put up the belt poll. I had somebody planned, but hang on just one second. We're going to make a vote between Gerrit Cole and Clay Holmes. So I'm putting up a poll in the chat. So while I do my recap, you guys can vote, and then we will award tonight's belt winner. Yankees scored 3 runs with 2 outs in the first inning. Back-to-back nice pieces of hitting by Anthony Rizzo, Josh Donaldson, and Gleyber Torres. Then with Joey Gallo at the plate, 2 runs scored on a wild pitch. Heads-up base running and great hustle by Gleyber Torres on that play. That was, he's running the bases so much better. Orioles threatened in the second, but Gerrit Cole induced a 6-4-3 double play to get out of it. Really nice pick on the back end by Anthony Rizzo. Gerrit Cole didn't pick up his first strikeout, surprisingly, until the 4th inning, but he made up for lost time. He struck out the side and ended up striking out 5 in a row. Bottom 6, he ran into trouble a little bit. Orioles picked up a couple of hits and ran the bases pretty well. They got a couple of runs back. Cole ended up going 7 innings, 97 pitches. Final line, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 2.89 ERA on the season. He is now 4-0. Round of applause for Gerrit Cole. All right. And then Clay Holmes came in for the 8th inning. He was dominant in the 8th, and then he shut it down in the 9th. So let's check in on that belt vote. And as I suspected, Gerrit Cole is leading 55% to 45%. So you know what that means. We have got to award a winner. Hang on just a second. Let me pull him back up. Gerrit Cole. Let's go. Belt winner. All right. So really nice job by Gerrit Cole. Let's go to the box score real quick. And as you can see, not a lot of offense from either team tonight. I mean, we had some hits, 7 hits for the Orioles, 6 hits for the Yankees. But, just couldn't make anything happen in terms of home runs. There was not a single RBI in the entire, no, there was. Torres had an RBI. And then the 2 runs scored on a wild pitch. And then the Orioles had a couple of ribbies. So pitching, Gerrit Cole, as you said, 4-0. Jordan Lyles pretty much pitched the game of his life according to what they said on the Orioles broadcast. I mean, he's not got great stats. If you go back and look at his numbers career-wise, they're just not that impressive. So, Yankees got shut down a little bit for the second time this year by a not-so-great pitcher, but they still somehow managed to squeak it out. All right, let's get back to your comments. Alex Valerio says Trevino double would have been a home run if it wasn't for the wall. Yeah, they moved that wall back, and it's cost at least a few home runs in this series. I thought Gallo hit one, maybe it was Rizzo. Somebody hit one opposite field that kind of died on the warning track. I think it was yesterday. And then obviously the Judge won off the wall. So, the moving the wall back, a strategic decision for the Orioles. It's definitely taken away some home runs. I don't know. I'm one of those guys I like home runs. I like a small bandbox park. It adds just not a unique, but it's a characteristic that is fun. I used to enjoy Camden Yards weekends because you might see 7 or 8 home runs. And now, I mean, they've just taken that completely out of play, and it's just not as fun. Kale Van Trussell says, I butchered that. Kale Van Tassel says, hearing people cheer for Gallo when he took a walk was just sad. I saw a funny comment on Twitter about how, Gallo will make 46 outs in a row and strike out 40 times. And then when he hits his 1 home run, all the people who support him will say, where's the Gallo haters now? It's like, come on. I just think that that both he and Hicks are struggling confidence-wise right now. They both look kind of lost. Hicks, it's just troubling to me because he started off the year so well, and it looks like he's regressed not only offensively, but defensively. And Gallo, I mean, I've never been a big Gallo guy, but, Shane Johnson says, Hicks is a bum, Gallo is a bum. Please make Holmes a closer already unhittable. How about that 0.44 ERA for Clay Holmes? Unbelievable. Asley says, trade Gallo and Hicks at the deadline. At this rate, Florial or Andujar could be no worse. So I think it was Florial went deep tonight, and it was opposite field to left field. We've seen him have good power the other way. And I stand corrected. Last night I said that his stats had regressed. They're actually kind of decent right now. He's hitting about 270. He's got a little bit of power. He's stealing bags. It might be time to give this kid a shot. I mean, how much more time does he really need? The Yankees might not like something like his exit velocities or some other kind of metric that they track. But, I mean, how much time do you really need to give somebody in the minor leagues? He's been in the minor leagues forever. He's in his mid-20s now. If not now, then when? And I think whoever said that, he can't be any worse than Gallo. I have to say, you're right. I mean, Florial might be the perfect replacement for Gallo right now, because not only, is he going to make more contact at least, but he also brings the defensive part that you love from Gallo. Now, is he a plus defender? We don't have any statistics to prove that, but just the eye test, he looks like he can run him down. He glides out there like Bernie Williams. So I don't know if it'll happen, but it's something you have to start thinking about. I mean, we're almost to Memorial Day, and according to this box score, Gallo is hitting 176 with a 621 OPS, and Hicks is hitting 204 with a 589 OPS. In between them, you got guys doing well. Judge having a good year, Rizzo, Donaldson, even Torres coming back to life. But below them, below Gallo in the order, you got Kiner Falefa, who's in there for his defense. He might, hit a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if he hits, 280, 285. He's hitting 261 right now. I think he's going to get better. And Marwin Gonzalez tonight, he's in 222, but typically you're going to have Trevino or Higashioka. There's been a lot of comparison to this, between this team and the 98 team. And aside from the winning, the teams were quite different. The 98 team really had no weaknesses. Up and down the lineup, everybody was a tough at bat. Everybody hit for contact, had a little bit of power. Joe Torre compared it to the Celtics. The Celtics wouldn't have anybody that would score 50 points, but they would have 4 or 5 guys who would have 20. The Yankees would have, nobody who was hitting 50 home runs, but, pretty much everybody hit 15 or 20 and had good contact, and you had a number of switch hitters. So the offense, the 98 offense was way better than this year's offense. I think the 98 team would wipe the floor with the 2022 team, offensively anyway. The pitching, that'd be a more interesting matchup. I mean, the pitching is different eras, essentially. I mean, I don't know if the 98 team had anybody who threw more than 96 miles an hour. And the Yankees have everybody, throwing 96 to 99 miles an hour. But if the Yankees, who have an opportunity now, look, they're almost 20 games over 500. They're on pace for 120 plus wins. If you really want to put this team over the top, you've got to build an offensive juggernaut. You've got to add something something to Judge and Stanton, because when they don't hit, it's tough. And LeMahieu's been slumping lately, regressing a little bit. I don't know. We've got to find somebody. We saw some rumors today, and I'd love to hear about this in the chat. What you guys think we would need a deal to get this done? We heard some rumors that the Nationals are considering, at least according to Buster Olney, trading Juan Soto. Now, I've said this before. When you're winning like this, it's not the time to be cautious and hang on to prospects. This is a wide open window right now that the Yankees have. And if you're going to make a deal like that, this would be the year to do it. You need a left-handed bat. Somebody made up a really good point on Twitter in a little discussion about this. If you do get Soto, he's a right fielder, and he's a good right fielder. So that would almost certainly shift Judge over to center field. And then you'd have to put somebody else in left. Maybe you play Stanton in left a little bit more. It would force Stanton back into the DH role more. Soto could definitely DH some. There are a lot of ways you can make it work, but I think at some point, you have to have seen enough about Gallo. Ryan P says trade Judge for Soto. That doesn't make any sense. That's
it doesn't work that way.
Just a bit outside.
There's no way they're trading. Why would you want to trade Judge? Dude's leading the league in home runs. Dude's hitting over 300. You can't trade Judge. Judge is part of the solution. Randy Noel says Soto's going to get 45 to 50 million a year. His agent is Boris. And I agree 100%.
Absolutely. Hey.
But he's not going to get it this year. He's not going to get it next year because he's under contract for another year and a half. You have a real opportunity to win a championship or two, but it would necessitate probably giving up 3 or 4 of your top 10 prospects. You're talking a Volpe, a Dominguez, maybe a Austin Wells, and probably a pitcher. And Luis Gil's probably off the table now because of his elbow. So probably a Waldachuk or a Wisniewski. Pete Manusco says, pay Judge.
Pay that man his money.
That's a new sound effect courtesy of a commenter, Snurd, I think his name is, Snurd Ferguson. Kale Van Trassel says Brian Reynolds or Juan Soto. Reynolds not having a great year, but he's somebody I would definitely move the needle, for. I would definitely consider it because we know what he can provide. He's a switch hitter. Frankie says, are we doing that thing where we complain after a win? I will not stand for it.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is revolting.
It's something that happens from time. Tonight was one of those wins where it felt like it should have been a better margin. It's like, it's kind of like we won the election, but we lost the popular vote. You know what I mean? It's something like that. It's we won, but offense did nothing, and some guys looked really bad. So it's just worth talking about. So I'll not take any sass from you, Frankie Baseball. Lori C says, throw in Hicks for free. Damian Lee says, can we get some love for the N64 shirt?
Absolutely, hey.
Love N64. That was such a fun console. It came out when I was in 7th grade, I think. And me and my brother played Ken Griffey Jr. baseball in that thing for ages and ages and ages. JT Zori says, don't trade Volpe or Dominguez or Waldachuk. So the thing about that is if you're going to go get a Juan Soto or somebody of that ilk or Brian Reynolds, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a little bit. Look at what the Red Sox gave up for Chris Sale. You just saw the White Sox. They had Moncada. They had Kopech. Look up what the Dodgers traded for Mookie Betts. I mean, when big star players with control get traded, difference makers. You add Juan Soto to this Yankees team. It makes them instantaneous favorites for the World Series. Instantaneous. Not even close. If you look at what they're doing with essentially a black hole in left field and at catcher in terms of offense, and then a quickly collapsing star that's not quite a black hole in Aaron Hicks, but, headed that way. And this team is still 19 games over 500 on May 18th. Insane. Kenyon says, give Judge a blank check.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Out of the crib custom says, what happened to Heel's elbow? So, we don't have a medical diagnosis yet, but apparently he pointed to his elbow and said he's done. Pitchers typically only do that when it's something serious. They feel something snap or pop, and there's not a lot that can snap or pop in the elbow that doesn't require Tommy John surgery. So, I'm anticipating that we're going to get that news. And now it might be something else. It might be inflammation. Could be just soreness. Could be bone chips. Could be any number of things. But when it happens suddenly like that, it usually indicates some kind of a UCL. X-Wing class is Murderer Row on steroids with Soto in the lineup. Wholeheartedly agree. I just think about, Soto's not only a left-handed hitter, which you need, that makes contact. He draws a million walks. He's got power to all fields. You hit him between Stanton and Judge, who in the hell are you going to pitch to? Who are you going to pitch to? Oh, and by the way, you surround him with DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo. Come on. Bubba says, oops, I lost track of the thing. Bubba says, do you think the Yankees will win 105 or more games? I do now. I really think they do. They're going to be pressured from behind because I think the Rays are still pretty good. And that's going to cause Brian Cashman to really take advantage of this window. Now, it might be somebody we don't expect. Look at what the Yankees did with Clay Holmes. Last year, he was kind of an afterthought, and he immediately became one of the best pitchers in the game out of the bullpen. Yankees might try and do something like that, get kind of a lottery ticket. But as Juan Santiago says, Judge, Stanton, Soto. Imagine that big three. That would be absolutely nuts. All right, we're going to take a look at the schedule for the upcoming days here. So we got the Orioles tomorrow. That's a day game. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do a live show. And then we got the White Sox, the 20th through the 22nd. The Orioles again, both of those at home. And then it's the Rays at Tampa. That's not going to be an easy series. James G says, Donald quietly heating up. OPS over 800. After the Rays, you got the Angels and the Tigers at Yankee Stadium. I'm looking forward to seeing Ohtani again at Yankee Stadium. That was fun. I mean, even though he was killing the Yankees, it was still fun to watch. He's still a one-of-a-kind player right now. X-Wing says they're on pace to win 100-plus games easy. Let's find out what their winning percentage is and get the up-to-date, like, what they're on pace for. The way I figure this out is I go to the standings and I look at their win percentage. So their win percentage is .757. So that's, if you shift around some decimal points, that's 75% roughly of 162. So we're going to do 162 times .757. And the Yankees are on pace for 122.63 wins. So essentially 123 wins. Will that happen? That's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. Steven Dorenzio doesn't think the Nats will trade Soto. You never know. I mean, it might be one of those things where, it's the baseball hype machine, trade rumors about Juan Soto sell subscriptions to The Athletic, and it sells commercials on MLB Tonight. It creates fodder for content creators like myself. Only the Nationals know what they're going to do, and we won't find out until at least the trade deadline. Let's see here. Tyler says half the Rays are hurt, and they're still winning series. Yeah, we've got to be really careful with those guys. Good drop. Jose Duran says Miguel Andujar is the answer. Problem with Miguel Andujar is that he's right-handed. We lose a little bit of left-handedness if you take Gallo or Hicks out of there. Ryan Tuhey says, hate playing at the Trop.
Absolutely, hey.
100%. Pete says, bring on the Rays. We are ready. 100%. Yakir Mayeski says, Rangers lost. Uh-oh. I gotta admit, I'm not really following hockey. I saw a little bit of the game the other night, but I'm so focused on baseball and what the Yankees are doing right now that it's just I can't really focus on anything else. But all right, good victory for the Yankees, kind of. I mean, it's good that they won, but the offense was dead. I will be back at some point tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's going to be a live show. I might just do a quick recap with the highlights and stuff. I've got some stuff in the afternoon. So I will see you all next time. Yankees now 28-9. They've won 9 out of their last 10. They have a plus 75 run differential, 181 scored on the season. Fantastic start for the New York Yankees. Let's give them a round of applause. And one more time from Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
More of that, please.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.